So hello and welcome back to another video. Now today doing something which I haven't done in what feels like a very long time, and that is a bit of beach fishing. Now we've got really big tides this evening, the high tide, which is in roughly an hour and a half, just over an hour and a half, is 10 metre. So we've got big tides, we've got a nice onshore wind here. It's currently blowing an east to northeast wind. It's really howling this afternoon. It's dropped a little bit, but it's still blowing a good sort of 18, 19, 20 mile an hour. Now, I've come out with two rods with me today, and I've actually just put one of them out now, literally 30 seconds before I turn the camera on. Now on that rod I'm fishing a pulley rig with size 2.0 Aberdeen and a little chinu as the pennel. And I've got some fresh lugworm on there. I went and dug some lugworm earlier today, and on the other rod I'm going to be fishing a 1 up 1 down rig with smaller hooks, size 4 Aberdeens, and also with lugworm, and I actually do have a little bit of frozen razor with me as well. Now the target species this evening is going to be any form of bream, and that will be a Couch's bream, black bream, outside chance of a gillhead, and maybe an outside chance of a red mullet. But I've not fished here since I think this time either last year or 2 years ago. So yeah, just come down, it's close to home, easy access, nice and easy, nice and comfortable. So we'll see how it goes. I'll take you through things as I'm doing it and show you the rigs and stuff like that. But first bait's in, hopefully we get a couple of fish tonight, and if we do, maybe we'll do a little cook up tomorrow after. Well, didn't manage to get the camera on in time, but we have our first fish. Now this is a lovely little surprise. Now, he's only a tiny thing. Come on. But that there is a little baby Giltheadbream. You can see that well, but just a little baby one. And would you believe it? I was just sat down, I was just having a drink, and I happened to notice my line went completely slack, and I knew straight away that's a fish. But check that out, just a little tiny one obviously, but they're stunning little fish. This one's actually got very silver on its head. Normally they're very golden colour, so that might be a juvenile thing. But we're going to get them back in the water now. So off he goes. Now that's really good to see, little juvenile fish like that, especially this time of year. You'll obviously get lots of small bream species about, Couch's bream, Gilthead's black bream. Now I've got to stick it out in the wind here. I'm just going to get some more baits on, and then get that rod back out, and hopefully we can catch a bigger one. So that's the size of the baits that I'm throwing out. As I said, these are just little size 4 Aberdeens. So I'm just putting one worm on each hook, blasting that out. I thought I had the camera on then, but I thought that was another little gillhead then, but oh, it's very lively, very spiny, black bream. There we go. Another species down. Just goes to show what I was saying about the smaller bream in numbers now. I've done a fair bit, yeah, not lately. Nah, not really. Oh, like £2? That's all. Loads of those. Well, yeah, there's loads of those about. Oh yeah, I got one of those as well, yeah. Well, there we go. Got another black bream there, slightly better size than the last ones. That's the fourth one I've had now. I've just been chatting to a fella here who's also into fishing. So nice to see a few fish, but we're going to put this one back because it's a little bit too small. Right, let's get these rods baited up again. There we go, like I said, just little baits. So obviously we're fishing small hooks. But what I might do as the light fades is put a different rig on with some bigger hooks, put a bigger bait out there. So now I'm back on my own again. I can film properly. And as you can see, it's just getting dark. What I've decided to do is clip on a razorfish bait on a running legend hook with some bigger hooks. I'm going to keep the small hooks on one of the rods and keep fishing the worm baits. I'm getting consistent hits, but I've only landed 4 bream so far, so we'll put this on and see how we get on. So those bait's been in the water about a minute. We've got another little micro black bream there. Shame when you're hooking these like this because they're taking decent bait. Just hoping for something a bit bigger. Come on mate, there we go. And I estimate that bait being in the water about 45 seconds. They're here in force now. Well, they're absolutely everywhere. Honestly, it's every single cast. I'm getting a bait in the water and they're on it immediately. But that one's not actually a bad size. It's probably a little bit too small to keep, by a centimetre or two. That's still nice to see anyway. But they're absolutely murdering these lugworm baits. Now again, let's get it back in the water. So once again, another bream. Now this one I'm actually going to keep because I've been catching them left, right and centre all evening. They've all been roughly, well, sorry, the biggest ones have been roughly this size, but that is a legal size, that, whoa. So I'll be taking that and I'll be cooking that up sometime tomorrow. So welcome back to the next part of this video, and what I'm going to be doing now is cooking up one of those bream that I caught last night. Now I only ended up keeping the one, and that was mainly because I think I only had 2 which were actually in size. I have measured this fish and I'm just going to show you something a little quick, very quickly, just to tell you about the minimum size of a black bream here in Guernsey. Now this may differ from the UK or different parts of Britain, so this is purely just for Guernsey over here. To be honest with you, I'm not too sure what it is in the UK, whether it is the same or whether it's different. Now over here in Guernsey, the minimum keeping size for a black bream is 23 centimetres, which is actually very small. This one here measures 26 centimetres, which I'll show you in a second. Now, me personally, I wouldn't be keeping a bream any smaller than this. This is 3 centimetres over the minimum size, but it's just, you don't get too much meat on it. I'm going to whip these fillets off and I'll show you how much meat I actually get off it. I'm going to try and keep as much as I can. I'll keep the carcass and bang it in the freezer and use that for something else. And what I'm going to be doing today is just making some very simple fish tacos. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the actual corn flour thick taco cases, which I would like to use, so I'm going to have to use tortillas, but I'm going to pickle a little bit of cabbage. I'm also going to pickle some cucumber. I've got some fresh chili. I'm going to make a little dressing with some creme fraiche, bang it all together, cook the fish, and then we're going to eat. So I'll take you through it step by step. I'm going to sort the bream out now, descale it, fillet it, so I'll take you through that as well. So let's get cooking, and we'll make a tasty dinner. So as you can see, we've got our black bream here. Now, as I was saying, if I put my hand next to this, you can see it's not too much bigger than my hand. Now the minimum size is 20 centimeters. I've just got a regular tape measure here, and we go from the tip of the tail there to the end, and you can probably see on camera. If not, if I just mark my finger there where it ends at the head, that there is 26 centimeters. So 3 centimeters over the minimum legal size to keep, but again, still a little on the small side. So what we're going to do first of all, I've just filled my sink with water here, and this is for descaling the fish. Now what this does is just prevents the scales from going absolutely everywhere. They'll stick to the walls. It's an absolute nightmare to clean up. So by scaling it in the sink under water, the scales all stay in there. Providing you have a plug like this, you can just drain the water out, all the scales will collect on it, and you can just dispose of that. So first of all, what I'm going to do is just snip off all of the fins. Now you don't have to do this, but it just makes it a little easier. I say all of the fins, I'm just going to do these ones here, and then get my scaler here under the water, and then just start taking the scales off. Now, all of these will collect in the water. You'll get the odd one that will fly up, but it's a much easier way of doing it. So once I've got this done, I'll get on to the next step. And this will only take a minute. So here we go, got our bream, scales all off. Now what you need is a nice sharp knife. You just want to start at the top of the head there, and then run the knife down the back of the spine just like this. That creates a little opening, and then you can just get your knife and pressing into the fish, into the skeleton, just run it down the back like that, open it up a little bit, and you want to be as close to the frame as possible. And then by doing this, you're maximizing all of the meat you get off it. And like I was saying about it being a small fish, you want to get as much meat off there as possible. So along this bit here, you got kind of the rib cage which flexes down like that. Follow the knife round it. Now I do apologise actually, because this knife is getting very old now, and it could do with being sharpened properly, but that's what you're getting off it. Now we're going to trim this up in a second. Just take the bits of sinew off. Now same thing goes for the other side. Run the knife down the back of the fish like that, all the way into the skeleton. And then whip that side off. And then we take that side off as well. So we got our 2 fillets here. Now as you can see, that's enough for a meal, but it's not exactly a gigantic amount of fish. And then what you can see here, you just got some slight sinew, so just want to take as much of that off as possible, trim it up nicely there, and then down here you've got some pin bones which we're going to take out in a second. Same thing. Now these are actually got the bones here from the rib cage, so you just want to get under that, just take the sinew off, leaving the meat on, and then there we go. Now a very handy thing to have is a pair of fish tweezers like this, and just by running your finger down the middle here, rather than cutting a V out and losing that flesh, you can just get a pair of these, and sometimes they can be very finicky, and just pop them out like that. So there we go, pin bones removed. Now I'll do this side in a second, but all we do now is just slightly score the skin, because I'm going to pan fry this
let it cool slightly, and then just break it up. So just by screwing the skin, it stops the fish from curling up when it hits the pan. So here I've got a few ingredients. Now I'm going to start by pickling this cabbage, and I'm going to slice it down the middle there, lay those on top, and then I'm just going to thinly chop this up. Now this is going to pickle for about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm using Savoy cabbage, so that flavour is going to penetrate that, soften it, kind of cure it almost very quickly. So that can go into the bowl. And then this is meant to be just simple, really, really simple. So what I have here is a little bit of caster sugar. So I'm just going to sprinkle a bit of that on there. Got some sea salt. Now I want half the juice of a lemon. Just roll that out, soften it up. And that goes in. And then I've just got some white wine vinegar. About a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of that. And then just mix it up. Already that is starting to soften. That's how quickly it happens. So we'll just set this to one side, and that's going to go in our wrap as well. Now then, next up we're going to do pretty much the same thing with a cucumber. Now just going to really thinly slice this. That'll be enough. Just lost a few on the board there. And then same thing again, salt. A touch of sugar. And no lemon this time, just the white wine vinegar. Bit of that in there. And then again, mix that up. And this is going to give a nice tangy crunch to the wraps. There we are. We'll set that aside as well. And now we'll get on to the dressing. Now with this dressing, you can make it up to however you like it. I'm literally just going to do about 2 tablespoons. That'll be enough. 2 tablespoons of creme fraiche. You can use any kind of chili sauce. I'm just using this hot Tabasco one. So a bit of that goes in there. I want the juice of half a lime. Cracked black pepper. Salt. And a touch of paprika. Now you can use smoked, you could use chili powder, about 1/4 teaspoon in there, and then we'll give it a mix up. And that's just going to be a nice dressing to pour over the top with a bit of a kick in it. So let's get that fish cooked. One final thing actually, which I nearly forgot. Just going to slice some fresh chili up just to put on top when we're finished. So, as I said earlier, these are the only wraps that I actually managed to get. So they're just standard tortilla wraps like that. But I'm just going to start, before I fry that fish, I'm just going to heat these up in a pan. And then very simply, I'm just going to pan fry the fish in a second, break it up, and then we'll have the tortilla wrap like that on the plate. We'll load it all up with everything, put the fish on there, put the dressing on there, wrap it up, and it's time to eat. Right, so obviously that pan is nice and warm now. Just going to go in with a little bit of olive oil. And then here we have our fish, nice and seasoned. Just press down on it for a second. Because although you've scored that, it will still want to curl up because it's hitting the heat. Just pressing down on it, make sure you get a nice seared skin. This is going to take about 4 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. Now I apologise if I sound very congested. I've got a bit of a terrible cold at the moment. And I also apologise about the noise in the background. The neighbour's dog is going mental. This fish has been cooking for about a minute or so now, minute and a half. And as you can see, you get the white that creeps up the sides here. Now this means the heat's rising through, so once it goes up a little bit higher there, you just flip it over, turn the heat down, leave it for another minute or so, and that is going to be ready. Now I'm hoping the chilli in these wraps is going to sort me out. Probably going to make my nose run even more, but back to the cooking. This fish has been on 2 minutes, so I'm just going to turn that over there. I'm going to turn that down by a fraction, and literally in 60 seconds time this is going to be ready. That's how we're looking at the moment. I'm going to pop it onto a plate here just to rest for a minute or so, and now we can start building. So apologies about the angle, this is the best I can do at the moment. Now I've been stirring this every now and then just to really get it nice and pickled. Now with clean hands obviously, I'm just going to build one for now to show you. But with nice clean hands, go in with the pickled cabbage. Even though this is pickled and it's cured, you're still going to get that crunch. And then we got our lovely thinly sliced cucumber. Obviously this is basic as hell, but now I've got one of these fillets of bream here, and I'm just going to break that up. Now if you wanted to take the skin off the fish beforehand, you could have done, obviously. Me personally, I quite like it on there. Now next up, we've got some of that lovely fresh chili dressing, which you can always put more on if you want. We've got some fresh chili. It's going to be spicy. And then bang, we'll put the rest of that lime juice on there. And that there is a winner. I am so congested, it is unbelievable. Now if this doesn't sort me out, I don't know what will. Now, how on earth I'm going to go about wrapping this, I'm not too sure yet. I might just fold it in half. There we go. But honestly, I mean, I know you can't see very well on film there, but oh, that looks good. Oh yeah, it's hot. Oh my god. Chili, sourness, fresh fish. Do you know what? It's got to be done. I'm going to make it even messier. Put some more of that beautiful sauce in there. Now this is probably not the most ideal thing to be eaten on camera because it's very messy. Ah, This is definitely getting my sinuses going. This is what's going to cure me. Chili and fresh fish. Boom. The cabbage in it is lovely. Really nice crispy texture. Right, well, before I polish off that second wrap, I'm probably going to wrap this one up. So thank you very much for watching this video. The session last night was obviously nothing fascinating, but it was good fun going out. Excuse me. It was good fun going out. As I said, we were fishing over a really big tide. We had consistent bites all night. Obviously only very, very small fish. But for the short window that I was out, it was entertaining. We got a lovely meal out of it, so what more could you ask for? That little mini Giltheadbream was a bonus as well. Hopefully there's going to be something a lot bigger around over the coming weeks, and I may be targeting them sometime soon from the beaches. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, then please hit the like button. Leave a comment if you'd like to, or share it on social media, and I thoroughly appreciate that. So thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one.